What is up everyone, I'm Skratch, welcome to the channel. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. Plarium just released some news about the upcoming Fusion event, guys, and all around related to the 6th year anniversary. We have quite a few things going on. In today's video, we're gonna have a look at the Fusion champion. He actually looks really solid. So if a lot of you guys were hoping for a proper lockout champion, this will be the one, because he's actually going to be much better than Alice, for example. And I'm gonna walk you basically through everything that Plarium has to say about the upcoming events, right? The 6th year anniversary, we have quite a few things going on. At the moment, unfortunately, because I'm not home right now, probably you guys can tell by the voice difference, the quality of the mic and all this. But they do have a website from where you can actually complete some puzzles and actually earn some rewards. I am actually locked by the region right now, so I cannot access the website. But I will leave the link for you guys in the description down below. We're gonna have some daily login reward system as well for a few days, like a 5-day gift chain. And let's dive into the main topic, which is the actual Fusion, guys. So we have Lord Entertainer Fabian. A lot of you guys commented on my previous video saying that Skratch, he looks like an undead. You were right, guys. He is going to be an undead champion. This will be the Fusion event. Now, I'm not 1000% sure if it's going to be a classic Fusion or if it's going to be like a fragment Fusion or anything like that. But I'm actually going to be able to check that out. On Monday, March 10th, they're planning to launch a Fusion event of a new champion. So it's going to be a classic Fusion. Most likely we're going to have to fuse the epics and complete a lot of events. Usually they tend to be slightly harder than the fragment ones, just because you're going to have to invest more resources into basically leveling up the chickens, send them, etc. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward, to be honest with you guys. And the champion actually looks pretty damn nice. With the A1 service in that, attacks one enemy twice, each hit steals 10% of the target's turn meter, places a true fear debuff for 2 turns if the target's turn meter is fully depleted. You need 2 books to go in this skill, so if you're attacking an enemy that doesn't have a lot of turn meter, you should be able to actually land a true fear on them as well. With the A2, Unwelcome Guest attacks one enemy, places a petrification debuff for 1 turn, has a chance of placing a true fear debuff for 2 turns on all other enemies who are not under fear or true fear debuff. This is actually really strong because it's for 2 turns. And you might be thinking, well, fear, true fear usually is not as powerful because it's only a 50-50 chance to proc, right? But his kit is actually really empowering it because he has a passive effect on this skill, which activates the skill whenever an enemy under a fear or a true fear debuff successfully uses a skill. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, only one will activate. So basically, he's going to use this skill whenever somebody that is under true fear will proc the skill. So basically, they won't actually miss a turn because of the true fear. So this is really powerful because he's going to have a chance to apply that petrification on the enemy, or basically apply true fear on the rest of the enemies as well if they're not under the debuffs already. I think it's really strong. This will be on a 3-turn cooldown fully booked. I'm very curious if this will put a skill on cooldown whenever it activates. I'm not sure if the passive effect will actually have a cooldown. By the looks of it here, it doesn't seem to have a cooldown. The cooldown is actually just for the skill. Then, with the A3, which is actually the creme de la creme, this will be on a 4-turn cooldown fully booked. Spectral Flourish attacks all enemies. Before attacking, has a chance of decreasing the duration of all enemy buffs by 3 turns, guys, which is really strong because he's not removing the buffs, right? So it's completely different now. Of course, it's only a hit. Either it removes the stone skin, either it doesn't, but it's for 3 turns, which is actually really strong because it can pretty much drop any buffs from the enemies. Then has a 100% chance fully booked of increasing the cooldown of all enemy skills by 3 turns, guys. That's how crazy it is. Yumeko does the same. I think if I remember it correctly, Crixia only increases the cooldown skills by 3 turns as well. So really strong. Some of you guys might be like, Skratch, it doesn't look like a super OP fusion. trust me when I'm telling you that, guys, he is going to be really, really strong for PvP. As I was mentioning before, save your resources because the next fusion might actually be bananas and is actually a really, really strong fusion. It's not necessarily the equivalent of an Arman's because he does slightly different things and the thermimeter manipulation, which is really OP, but everything else on his kit is really, really strong. Now, of course, with that A3, as you guys probably noticed already, he is Spirit Affinity. He's not Void or anything like that, which means that he does have the chance to weak hit versus Magic Champions. And to be honest with you guys, there are a lot of Magic Champions. We have, of course, Queen Ancora, which is Magic. You have Narcissus, you have Siegfried, you have tons of different Magic Champions that can get weak hits, Rotos, etc. So it's the same situation like with Crixia, because she is Spirit Affinity too. But to be honest, this is still really, really strong. And it will grant an extra turn if there are no buffs on the enemy team after this attack. So if that decreased cooldown actually removes the stone skin as well from the enemies, guys, you open with the A3, you increase the cooldown of the skills, and then you move on to the freaking A2, which will allow you to apply petrification to one enemy and then through fear on all the other enemies. So you have insane crowd control with this champion, not only for PvP, but crazy control on progression as well. When we're talking about dungeon waves, if we're talking about Doom Tower, if we're talking about the Curse City, even if we are talking about the Siege mode, which is kind of like an extension of the PvP, right? This champion is actually going to be really, really helpful for pretty much the majority of you guys. Moving on to the passive, Ghost with the most. Whenever an enemy is revived, places a True Fear debuff on that enemy for 2 turns. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, of course, only one will activate. This is really strong as well because, let's be honest, the meta is full of revivers. So having the ability to instantly put True Fear on the enemy when he gets revived is basically a 50% chance for the enemy to don't actually take a move. And if he takes a move, bang, you're going to activate that A2 skill and put petrification on the enemy. So I think he's really, really strong. Then removes any stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, fear, true fear, and petrification debuffs from this champion before the start of their turn. It's a shame that he's now removing the polymorph from himself either, but I guess he does need to have some form of a counter. As you guys can probably notice, he is landing a lot of debuffs, which means that he is going to be a magnet for polymorph. That's why you definitely need to build this champion on pinpoint. Then, if you have the wand relic to give it to him, it will be absolutely amazing. But having the ability to instantly remove the crowd control debuffs from himself and ensuring that he is going to take that turn is absolutely massive. So I really think he's a very, very strong champion. And if you're asking me, is this champion a must-do? I 100% think it is. Now, it's up to your own discretion if you are going to complete this fusion. I know, as usual, there are always those people that complain about every single fusion. They cried about Armans, they cried about Ninja, they cried about Newt, they cried about every other champion in the game, calling them trash just because they have nothing else better to do. And then 2 months later, they're gonna go and cry to their mamas, oh my god, that fusion was OP and I skipped it. And they continue to complain about every single champion. So I'm sure you're gonna find them in my comment section, 1000% complaining and saying, Skratch, this is clickbait, this champion is not a must-do. Again, Plarium pays the content creators to go and push these champions, which is not the case. Up to you if you guys want to do the fusion. Nobody's forcing you, I'm just giving you my personal take. I think he's going to be really strong and I will 1000% go for the fusion. Not to mention, he has an amazing aura as well, which gives you speed in all battles, 19%. Truth be told, he's not really a PvE champion that you're going to take in the Hydra clan boss. He's not a champion that you're going to take in the clan boss. He's not a champion that you're going to take in the Chimera. So, let's be honest about that part, right? But if you are interested in the rest of the content, I definitely think he is 100% must-do. Lockout, removes buffs, tons of crowd control, crazy good passive. What else you want from a champion, basically, right? So personally, I think this is an amazing fusion. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. As I've mentioned, the fusion will start on the 10th. So is not this week as I was kind of like expecting it to be. But either way, we have a bit of an extra time to prepare for it, which is really, really good. Keep in mind, the very first summoning event for this fusion will be most likely a summon rush or a hero pack or something like that. So saving sacreds, voids, primals is actually really, really important. As usual, much love, appreciate all of you guys watching, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.